So, for those who get the chance to see this shall be a very interesting live indeed. Before I start, I'm going to say the Lord's Prayer. And a man should not cover his head in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father in heaven, honored be thy name. May thy kingdom come. May thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us each day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us on the righteous path, and guard us from the evil. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. So, I know this is, you're going to see the screenshot on the little thumbnail. That's all for provoking thought. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show the screen. So I'll be actually having a conversation. So for anyone that has a comment or any quote, I want to challenge them. This is what I want to challenge them to. Prove to me live that weed is illegal. I'm in Wisconsin. You will say that this state, weed is illegal. What's that? In Wisconsin, while they say weed is illegal, you can pick up THC substances, dry herbs, real dry herbs. Now, I'm a medication administrator. I administrate multiple different types of drugs, right? Medication is actually called drugs. This is important. So as a medication administrator, I don't go around and condemning a lot of different people for different substances that they take for different reasons. Now, there's different purposes and different reasons for different products. So I'll actually be holding this throughout the whole time, or a good portion of the amount of time, to go over some of the major things that a lot of people do not think about when going over societal structuring. What do I mean about societal structuring? Well, let me tell you something very important about why many people in their mind really put that such substances, right, green herbs like this, are illegal or a sin. Now we got to understand the history. We got to go do a historical trail of these things. We got to understand what actually made this illegal. Remember, I'm in Wisconsin. This is illegal, but this is being sold in stores. This is being sold in stores where we live, right? Now, if I buy cigarettes, if I buy maybe CBD medication, let's say something for concentration. I want to concentrate. I want to sit there and read. Maybe throughout my day, I have too much stuff on my mind. I left out of the hood. I'm always getting mind boggling things that I still remember from things I've seen. Maybe I need to sit there and read the Bible, and I don't need nothing to distract me. So there's a lot of different substances. Obviously, alcohol wouldn't be the best thing to take, but I want to take a challenge. I want to show you in a very important message that you can justify alcohol, which is a poison. Yet a substance that actually has more benefits, more factors of helping people, is commonly misunderstood. In fact, it has been an illusion on modern societies that this is wrong, that this product right here is evil. And I'm going to prove that to you very, very quickly. But the most important thing that we need to understand with all this is we got to understand common truth. Now I'm going to first break this down because I wanted to try to do a little, screen share, but I can't. YouTube little thing doesn't really have it, looks like. But I'm going to start another live, and I'm going to do it by screen share. And we're going to go over the history. We're going to go over the legend behind how this, in its pure form, became illegal. And we're going to actually expose how America actually used to use hemp, weed, to help in the war, to help a lot of different people. It was used, you can see it in multiple different places. So I'm going to actually do this as an intro, since we can't really show the screen. But if someone has a logical conversation on it, I want to give about a good hour to go over this matter. I want to give about a 1 hour to go over how in Wisconsin this is illegal, but it's being sold in stores, right? This is being sold in stores, right? This is the store. You can look it up. If you can't really see, it is actually going to be vape in America. So it's going to be VAPIN USA. So basically, so it's a vape shop in America. I probably said that we're vape in USA rather. And if you've probably seen it, a lot of different groups are selling these like Delta 9s and all these different things. But I thought this was a very important point. So you see that's probably out of focus right there. I'm gonna try to put that in focus. You see that little right there? That is going to be Wisconsin right there. You see that? Wisconsin, where you can look it up right now. Right now, you can look it up. It's illegal. But this is legally being sold in Wisconsin. And I'll tell you why in very, 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 very soon. So I'll do a video on the history, on how this became seen as a substance of evil, and why your markets are filled with substances that are killing people, and people see that as okay. Real substances that are sold by professionals that they know is bad, that they know there's other routes for better alternatives. And I'm going to show you that how those other substances were used for money. They're all money, is all publicity, you'll see when we talk about the history. So if you never heard about it, Hemp for America, if you never heard about it, all the different things that came up during the time of the high prejudice, real history that I'm going to show, real prejudice that came up, how they was trying to basically demonize things like this, and what societies and what groups were able to find very cheap medicinal, sorry, I said that weird, very cheap herbs, very cheap medical supplies to help for different things, and how that became one of the biggest targets for companies, the cotton company especially, that took down the hemp company and it made this right here green, the green herb, when it was sold in many different nations, illegal, and demonized it, exaggerated. So now you'll say that it's a very dangerous drug, but if you do the research, who has ever died from such a thing? I have a challenge. I got this 1 hour challenge. Right now it's just been 8 minutes, but I'm going to stay on for about an hour, maybe even less. It depends. But I have a challenge, and the challenge is this. Why is this sold in Wisconsin if this is illegal in Wisconsin? And also, how is this a sin? I want to bring this forth to many different people who go over this topic. I've seen a lot of different people on this topic giving incorrect information on this topic and has not really actually studied the topic properly. That means you got to study, how did it become illegal? Was it used in ancient societies? And should we consider this dangerous? And as a medication administrator, I administrate multiple different medications to different clients. So sometimes there's a client that may take, maybe it's 8 a.m. and I got an hour window or 2 hour window, whatever that medication may be. And sometimes they take multiple different pills. And we got a book, thick book, very thick book, that tells you of the details of each side effect of those pills. And some of them are dangerous. Some of them, if you mix them up, you will kill the client. So, you know, when people go around and say they're a doctor, they're a nurse, they're taking care of certain clients and stuff like that, their life is in your hand. You're administrating to them products that you know has extreme side effects that you cannot mix incorrectly. This right here, never can you mix this with anything and it become evil, toxic. That's my challenge. That's my challenge, is that for someone to prove scientifically, historically, and biblically how this item right here is, 1, unlawful, and 2, a sin. So the biggest thing to that challenge is going to be real credible sources real credible information. Now, if someone tries to go off the concept, oh, if they smoke it, they'll get high. That's the problem. That's the problem, is that they don't really understand what it actually is used for. Yeah, there are some people whose sole purpose is to lose their self. They do that with drinks too. Is drinks also bad? So you got to understand that when you are going across a substance, when you are going about taking a medicinal herb or a medicinal item, when you're taking one of those, you got to consider yourself that, are you doing it responsibly? Are you being responsible with the item that you have before you, whether it be alcohol or any type of medical herb? But just remember that the item that you have is yours personally. It's a difference between if you're giving this to someone else, but other people do administrate medication, drugs to other people. And some of them have deadly side effects, but yet it is legal. And is it just? And is it righteous? And is it actually not a sin? These are things that many people actually think about. But is this that's sold in Wisconsin, that has multiple different medical uses right now in many different states, many different nations, is this, should we consider this and not actually examine it, not actually use it as science? Should we actually consider this the same schedule as stuff higher than like heroin, crack cocaine, stuff like that? Is this literally scientifically the same as all those things? Because this is being sold in shops. What if I told you that there was Walmart selling it? What if I told you that there were shops that, or regular convenience stores, start selling this stuff? Obviously, we got to think about what generation that would be. And then we got to wonder, is it actually doing harm to that generation? Is it doing harm to that group? Is it doing harm? And how would it be doing harm? So that's going to be the biggest challenge, is actually proving, one, the harm, proving the harm, and proving the crime, and proving, again, biblically, textually, how this would be wrong. Right? I'm just making sure I see what you're saying there, family, because I think it's important to go over this stuff. Right? Still trying to figure out how this thing works. It works so smooth on when I'm doing screen share, but not the best on this thing. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. So the challenge, right? So the challenge is this. I'm gonna say it again. So, and then you know how it goes. You're like, all this is for thought provoking, for bringing someone in, making them feel like, man, that guy's a thug. He just want to smoke. He just want to do that stuff and lose himself. He just want people to get into. He's a gateway drug. It's gonna get people high, and they don't know how to control themselves. They go crazy and kill everybody. Cause highness is the sameness as drunkenness. No, it's not. It's really not. That's what the most important thing to know about. You gotta tell the truth, and you gotta understand what it is that weed actually does, or the herb actually does to the brain. Does your brain have receptors that accept these? Does your brain already have receptors that receive these type of cannabinoids? That's going to be the interesting thing of the science. So we're going to talk about the sources on this. We're going to talk about the history. Again, we're going to talk about the history. We're going to talk about the sources. We're going to talk about the evidence, and we're going to talk about the scriptures, right? So one of the most important scriptures, one of the most important verses alone, is where God says, I have given man every green herb. Now that's important. That's important because that's going to be important to every green herb, right? Every green herb. That's going to be very important to see if this is actually natural, and if this would have been something that would exist naturally created of every green herb that was given. So we got to find out, we got to ask ourselves that, is this going to actually be something that's going to be considered a green herb that was given? And we're going to actually find out when this society make this illegal. Was ancient societies making this illegal? Or was modern societies making this illegal? Right? Because why did we have hemp for America? And why did we have many different proper inventions that would have probably, you know how you got the climate change complaints and all that stuff? If we instead of went a different route, like hemp, and in fact, I'm going to prove to you that that's what destroyed the earth. Removing this product from the earth destroyed the earth. I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove it to you, and I'm going to show you that this product, by the way it grows, it actually feeds and nurtures different plants that it grows next to. In fact, if you was to grow a garden with one of these plants in it, you're gonna be a very happy gardener. But you're gonna see the difference between plants that pull nutrients from the ground and plants that supply nutrients in the ground. So there's a difference between these things. It's a very sensitive plant. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a conversation. So 15 minutes in, and we're gonna accumulate information. So we're gonna wait till we get talkers, as this is all thought provoking. This right here is to make someone look, wait a second, that's a crook. Let me bring out my strongest information that I got. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to get the strongest information that we can get. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to go deep into the subject. And we're not going to hold back what is actually said or shown. So it's going to be one of the most important things. I don't know how people see the comments on these things like this. Oh, I don't know why that thing changed like that. All right, so, and that's what we're going to have a conversation on this matter. All right. I probably need a second phone so I can see what's happening in the chat. All right. So, one more time. Maybe I'll make this 30 minutes. Let's see. We almost 20 minutes in. One more time, though. This right here, this item right here, was sold in Wisconsin. Right? Probably can't see it. That's White Widow. All right? Sold in Wisconsin. And what else do we have to know about this product? Right? It's sold in the store. Right? This is not bought on the streets. This is not a street item. In fact, this is you got free samples going around being sold. And if you actually had seen a place like this, you can go and buy this stuff in a place where it say it's legal, buying weed. But it would say that, certain parts of it are fine. Certain parts are fine. You know, you got your CBD, you got your TH, whatever, and it'd be fine. So it makes you wonder, what part of it is bad? What part of this thing right here, what part of this thing is bad? And if you want, again, remember, the one of the simplest conversations is it gets you high. So we're gonna go over what is that type of highness, and what is the difference and the importance of understanding. As a medication administrator, I'm sure we'll probably have someone with different professions, I hope so, on why this product should not be seen or taken as, one, illegal, and two, a sin. So we're going to actually break that down. We're going to be breaking it down with a visual historical dive. Oh, I see. You just scroll. All right, I see the text. I see the messages now. All right, so one person said, may not be evil, but it's not good for the brain. All right, well, is it not good for the brain? So let's actually go over that. We'll note that down. All that will be noted. We're going to actually go over that. Is it good for the brain? Does it actually benefit the brain? Does it benefit the body at all? Does it have benefits in the brain? In fact, before you challenge that, type down this. Marijuana or weed helps kids. Just type it down. Yeah, that sounds controversial, don't it? Marijuana, weed helping kids. Can you imagine such a product? You will never give cocaine to your kids. I guarantee you'll never give heroin to your kids. But why do we have already many people realizing that this product may have some benefits? So it's one of those things that might be interesting. So we'll go over that in the next live. We'll have a conversation on that. So that's a very important one to go over, right? It makes you gluttony. It makes you lazy. Does it make you lazy? Does it actually? Now, does weed make you lazy, or is someone just lazy? Is someone just lazy? Let's be honest. Does it have properties in it to make you lazy? What is even lazy? That's a question. That's a question. What makes someone lazy? What's something that actually makes someone lazy? That's important to understand. When someone drinks a little wine, right? And in fact, it's important to know the difference between what people know as a upper and a downer, or a depressant. If something makes you lazy, you know what makes someone more lazy? Alcohol. Why? Because it's a depressant. It's a poison. Alcohol would be a depressant. It would be a poison. If someone sit there and have a cup, they might feel a little more down. Not down necessarily, but it is a depressant. So that's something to understand. Now there are some that they get the little bit in them, you don't remember what it was. It acts different. But this is not a depressant. So it depends on which one you have. So there's also different strands of it, right? There's stuff like indica, stevia, there's hybrids. So there's different strands of it. So it doesn't necessarily make one lazy, right? If it gets mold, see, that's the thing too. You gotta be careful, right? Anything that gets old has to be cleaned out. Your bread can get mold, so that wouldn't be enough to make it bad. If your stuff get moldy, if it gets moldy, that means you got to get something new. That means probably something bad with that, right? So mold would be a secondary reason. Just like in behavioral, do you know that anger is a secondary emotion? It's not a first emotion. Anger is not a first emotion. So always remember, in argument, you got to find the primary source, not the secondary. So it's always important to do that. That's just something symbolic to get a little understanding of that, right? There it is, brother. Every green herb to eat. That's right. So what if I take a cannabinoid and eat it? What if I take weed? What if I take this? They also got gummies. They got fruits of it. What if I take a gummy and eat it? What if I only eat weed? What if I only eat it? What if someone likes weed and only eats it? They only eat edibles. Is that okay? Right? Every green herb to eat. So that's your challenge, right? Because actually, you don't only smoke this. But I got this for the most controversial of it, right? Why controversial? Because we're about, like we always do, we're about to put some thoughts to the generation, get the generation to think, right? And we're going to show you how this was used to inspire a prejudice. And we're going to show you how this became bad. And we're going to show you how the world used it as a beneficial thing for a long time, very long time. It's about the 1900s. So we'll go over that. I've seen papers that said they found weed mixed with blunt offerings in the temple. Now, I'm not going to go the route of saying the Bible, like Israelites were using it. They might have, right? I got evidence that they were eating catfish. Ancient Israelites in the Second Temple, they were eating catfish. So they were doing some things, but I don't think that at those altars, I don't think those were ancient marijuana there. I think that was probably recent because, in fact, many different archaeologists used to smoke. Many different archaeologists, many different scholars smoked normally, and we're going to go over that too. That, in fact, probably the one that you've seen at that place, all that marijuana at that place in Jerusalem, that they thought was ancient marijuana, might have been just a archaeologist or someone there smoking and just set it there, most likely. Now, if it was ancient, it's ancient, but most likely it was probably someone that was smoking while they was on the job. And that's normal. That's what they were normally doing. And that's what the interesting thing is. It wasn't illegal a long time ago. It was just illegal recently. We'll go over it when it got illegal. But yes, a lot of professionals used to smoke normally. A lot of professionals used to actually smoke normally. So I should roll around in poison ivy. Poison ivy is not the same as weed. Not the same. So obviously do it responsibly as a person who chooses to do a thing responsibly, as you should drink responsibly. Drinking is not bad. Drinking is not bad. Alcohol is not bad. So if you do it responsibly, right? Even the scripture, it says, drink no longer water, but a little wine for your infirmities, right? So that's very important. There were physicians in the Bible. You still had to take care of yourself. So that's very important, right? So obviously, something that's not going to be healthy for you, no. But if it has some benefits and it doesn't harm you, then you got to ask yourself, who you trying to stop? If you can't drink responsibly, if you can't consume responsibly, you probably shouldn't, right? If you're going to have this and go on a run on the street and run someone over or do something crazy, you probably shouldn't, right? You probably shouldn't, right? It's the same thing, just like with drinking, right? Drinking has its problems when you drive. But if you drink at home, you do it responsibly, you'll be safe, right? Have a little wine here and there, you'll be okay, right? But you don't want to get drunk to the point where you're fighting your neighbors, right? You're trying to do something illegal, right? That means you have passed the limit. You become out of your control. That's what drunkenness really is. It's something that you have that has totally consumed you, that you don't even have control anymore. It's the most important thing. Do people lose control when they smoke this? Do they lose control? What is highness actually? Do you know what it actually is, or have you ever felt it? Do you know what it is? Do you have any clue? Or do some people over exaggerate their high? In fact, I can guarantee you there's multiple people who can witness that there are people who exaggerate their highs so that the stories about those highs are spread to people who never experienced those highs. So a lot of people who tell about those highs, they'll say, oh, it drives people crazy. It makes them crazy. They're high. They can't even control themselves. They're lazy. They can't even do anything. They're just high. But they have no idea what that high is. You ever seen a person in let's say a care home on medication? Are they high? Technically they are high. They would be technically considered in the term high, because what is high, right? Is there a maximum to the high? Is there a max? So your high, is like a certain limit to it, or is it something that actually, how you say, heighten your mood, right? So that's the most important thing when you think high, right? Is something that heighten your mood, something that's supposed to heighten you, right? Bring you higher, right? Or is it something that's supposed to bring you down, right? Because there are some things that bring you down, some things that bring you up, right? You're going to talk about the history. We're going to talk about the history. We're going to go over the history of this product, and we're going to go over why it's important to know the history. Yes, we're going to go over the history. Amen. Masked out. That's right, family. We masked out today. So, and it's all like I said, it's all to thought provoke, right? It's all to thought provoke. That's all that it is. It's for thought provoking. It's to bring someone out that's saying that this product right here, whether it's CBD form, whether in edible form, oil form, herb form, and to prove that is one, dangerous, which part of it is dangerous, and why your body rejects it. What does it do to multiple different people? Has it killed anyone? And to prove how this right here is a sin. That's going to be the most important thing to prove, right? Remember, real medicine is also a drug. As a medication administrator, I can tell you without a doubt, when you say drug, you are also saying medicine. Remember that. But there is a difference between illegal narcotics or illegal drugs, stuff like that. There's a difference. Cocaine, crack, stuff like that, right? Get out of that. Don't mess with that, right? But there's a difference between certain things, like alcohol, that also became illegal. Remember, alcohol was illegal. But we'll use the scriptures to justify it, because we know that they were using alcoholic beverages, right? We can prove it was alcoholic in the Bible. But it's dangerous. In fact, I don't recommend alcohol. I'm not saying it's against the law, but I'm going to tell you this. Me personally, I don't recommend alcohol. Look in my eyes when I say this. My father died as an alcoholic. All I seen throughout my whole life is that he used to drink all the time. All the time. In fact, the last time I seen him They said his blood alcohol level was that his body was pretty much alcohol. And that's what took him. I never heard no one being taken by this. Have you? Can you show me some evidence of someone being taken by this? Prove it. That's the goal, is to prove its extent of death and its danger. You got to prove that your body don't reject it. You got to prove that this is illegal. You got to prove it. This right here is not illegal. It's not. It's a culture creation that makes people think that this was bad or illegal. In fact, this is more safe than many drugs in hospitals or being taken by people today. You probably know many different people taking drugs, medications that are more dangerous than this in multiple different ways. Way more dangerous. Sugar is more dangerous than this. Coffee is more dangerous than this. Yes, sugar and coffee is much more dangerous than this. Because coffee is a drug. Some people don't know that. It gets you high. Coffee lifts up your mood. Coffee gets you high. Coffee is a drug. You can look it up. Coffee is a medication. It's dangerous too. It's dangerous. It can kill you. Too much coffee can kill you. That's what's important to know. Alcohol can kill you. Coffee can kill you. Sugar can kill you. Can this? Right? If it's natural, why is there a patent? I thought you couldn't patent natural things. You apparently can patent anything. If someone wanted to, they can patent air. In fact, I seen a company selling air. People patent seeds all the time. We'll go over that too. We'll go over companies on how they actually get things to become of their name, so that you have to go to them for certain stuff, right? If you study a little bit on, it's a lot of different companies I can name, but I'll just say this for a certain thing. Just look up patent seeds. Look up patent seeds if you want to wonder about things patent. And are those things also still natural? Yes, there's a lot of things that are still natural but still patent. So that's one of the biggest things. Yeah. Then Thomas Jefferson had one of the biggest weed farms ever. Even if he did, even if Hitler had a weed farm, that wouldn't make it bad, because even if he had an apple tree garden, that doesn't make apple trees bad. So the worst person in the world having something doesn't make that thing bad. So that wouldn't be enough, right? The government has lied to us our whole lives. Thomas isn't lying. Listen to me what I'm saying. Natural medicinal herbs, a lot of them that are natural, things like this, you have been lied to. And we're going to reveal it. We're going to bring it out. Some people already know the truth, right? Some people already know the truth. In fact, there's a little funny video that you can see real fast. I do a quite little detailed breakdown. We're going to do a little more detail on it. Adam Ruins Everything. A video called, someone has shown me, Adam Ruins Everything. And he talks about the history of weed, marijuana. And he goes over the political factor on how this was used as an instrument of prejudice attacks. So it's gonna be one of those rides that we're gonna go through a historical lane of it. Right? Some famous rabbis smoked, I think, about Shem Toy. Yup. You're gonna be surprised who all actually smokes. You're gonna be surprised on how many people actually used to smoke and how many people would say smoking is actually very beneficial. So very, very important is when you is consumed is bad. Yup. That eat anything in your fridge. That's right. All right, there you go. Any mind-altering substance blocks you off from the sunlight of the spirit. Is that true? We'll go over that. If you want to justify idolatry, go ahead. It's a sin. Go ahead and bring out the scripture that says any mind-altering substance. Any mind-altering, and when your mind is altered, are you lost from the spirit? Is a disabled person Tell me this. A disabled person on 4 different medication, and one actually alters his mind to be more calm. Is he not able to hear the gospel and learn of God? I talk to plenty of disabled individuals on multiple different medications. And you know, a lot of them actually worship God. A lot of them go to church. A lot of them love God. But they got to stay on those medications because a lot of them are violent. A lot of them got to be on that medication. You never seen some of these individuals off their medication. But their mind is altered by that medication. Are they not able to have a conversation with God because their mind is altered on that medication? You got to ask yourself a question. Who are you justifying by saying you don't need medication? Who are you justifying? Yourself? Or are you justifying the science and full studies of different individuals on different medications that alter their mind? Consider that you have to consider, are you isolating this and saying because this alters a mind, that every single person with an altered mind does not have the presence of, or not able to obtain any messages from God or to God, to send a message to God? Are you saying that by someone having some type of medication administrated to him, maybe at 8 p.m., nighttime, he's taking a med to get some sleep, he got to pop out maybe 4 different meds? It's this med, that med, that med, and that med. You got to make sure it's given to him at 8 p.m. He got to take those meds or he ain't going to sleep. That man ain't going to sleep unless he take his meds. He's going to be up and he wants to fight. Why? Because he's wounded up. He needs a downer. In the morning, you're going to have different things. You're going to have your vitamins. You're going to have different things, your uppers and stuff like that, get you ready for the day. For certain individuals, when you have clients that take medications and you're a medication administrator, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're responsible for someone who has to take their medication, you might have a medication there that you got to know the side effects. And some of them do change their mind, alter their mind for different reasons. So it's not the fact that their mind is altered. It's the fact, can they control their mind? Is this actually altering their mind to a beneficial way? Or is it altering their mind to something unbeneficial? So you got to ask yourself that are you condemning individuals who get their mind altered to a different state of mind so that they can cope with normal society? That's the biggest thing. Or do we need things with side effects in it? If it brings you closer to the Most High, right? Right? And remember, the only thing that's going to bring you closer to the Most High is the Word of God. Right? I'm not saying that this right here is going to give you some type of spiritual increase to God. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there are individuals today that can benefit from things like this that have no side effect, no side effects from things like this, that have almost no side effects, where they can actually be okay and probably be not dangerous to society. But the problem is that a lot of things today are based on money. And we're going to reveal that on how things that are acceptable today, that are sold by doctors and professionals alike, or basically sold, prescribed pretty much, because you're going to get it bought from like your local whatever store it will be. They will give you a idea of what it's going to do before you take it. They'll tell you, oh, take this twice a day, and if you feel any headaches, if you feel a little drowsy, you'll be all right. You know, it'll be okay. And do you say no? Did you just say that's going to alter my mind? That's going to alter my mind? And the doctor looks at you like, yeah, it might make you a little drowsy. And you're going to say that I'm not going to take that. That's going to alter my mind. I'm not going to, there's no way I can reach God if my mind is a little altered. You got to ask yourself, how much of your mind is going to be altered? Is it to the point where you are become technically drunk? If so, if you have no control, then don't take it. Don't do a substance. Don't take anything that you can't handle or is not something that's good for your body or something that your body can't operate properly or beneficial for society after that. That's why clients go through multiple different medications until they find the right one. Because a lot of the medication is not made for their body, but a lot of it is to make them more safer for society. That's one of the biggest things about a lot of things like that, right? So you're going to have certain medication with a lot of different side effects at times. They will alter the mind, but they're acceptable. So that, you got to ask yourself that. Can they still have a conversation with God? Can they still pray? Right? I think they can. Absolutely. I think as a medication administrator, I talk to other doctors, other nurses. I talk to other people in the field all around that believe there's a lot of people, clients, that are disabled in different ways. Maybe they can't walk. Maybe they can't do something normal that we can do. Something that makes them a little more disabled. But they take a mind-altering substance, maybe 4, 5 pills, and their mind is different than ours. They're more calm, they're more relaxed, but they're not thinking about getting up and slapping somebody and doing some crazy stuff. Believe me when I say this, it happens, right? That's if people don't have their medication, they don't have what they need. But what's the problem is that they have medications and certain things that have extreme side effects, because there's better routes with almost little to none side effects that would be better for them, right? It's not like it's going to help every single person. It's not going to do the same effect on every single person, but I can tell you in the majority, it might do them some benefits, right? So it's very, very important. Yep. Jesus did sip some wine. That's right. Also, it makes a weaker brother sin. Don't do it. That's the Bible. So how would it make them sin? That's the question. How would it make them sin? I'll let you answer that. How would it make them sin? How would this make you sin? If you go to the store and pick up a gummy and chew a gummy, or you go to a brother and be like, hey, your brother's like, hey, man, I'm just stressing, man, all this work. I mean, you gotta work. You can't give up. You gotta keep working. But I've been having these gummies that's been having me sitting, and I don't be thinking too much about my stress. I've been able to read more. I've been able to sit down and not think about my past. I'm not yelling at my wife now. I'm not fighting with people. I'm not yelling. I'm more calm. His mind's altered. His mind altered. Is it altered for the better, or is it also for the worse? Right? So that's actually important to know. Right? That's important to go over. Right? Very, 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 very important. Very, very important. And if you offer him something to make him go a better route, he's not fighting with people. He's not fighting his wife. He's not trying to leave his job. He's going to work like, well, I can stay in work. I can do this. I got a legal substance that I just took, and it has no side effects. And I don't feel like I'm drunk, but I feel like I don't have to think too much on work, like it's just stressful. Green herbs. Why does it have no side effect? Why does it have no side effect? Yeah, it can be a benefit to someone in a different way, alter their mind to a better state, right? So how would you cause them to sin? Now, if they take this substance and they sin because that's what they wanted to do. It wasn't because the substance, it's because the heart. It's the heart. In fact, I can tell you right now, as a medication administrator, a person is still able, when they're taking different medication, they're still able to choose, even on something like this. Yes. When someone's drunk, though, they can't. A lot of times they can't make the right choice. One step with the alcohol too far, and you don't have a choice to make. Your body is going. You're moving what your body does. Not with this. It doesn't have the same effect as drunkenness, as alcohol, right? Yeah, I would agree. Facebook gets you high. Facebook, TikTok, gambling. There's so many different things that actually get you high. What is a high, right? What is the scientific term for high? In fact, what is the high that weed gives you? What is it? And is it always a high? Is everything a stevia? I thought there was also indicas that gives you a low, because there's some highs and there's some lows. That's important to know, right? Go to if you had a professional place that would tell you, oh, this one would give you this one will give you that. But no, you got people that had to go to the streets and get whatever they get. They'll tell you it's whatever. And most people want it just for the hype. They buy alcohol for the hype. How many people you know that buy alcohol just to sip it and not get a little buzz? How many people that just has an alcohol and just I'm just wake up this morning and have a drink of alcohol, just sip it, just a drink of alcohol. I just love the taste of alcohol. I just no, tell the truth. Tell the truth. How many people you know the first thing they want to grab in the morning is some whiskey? I love this taste. That's what I want. That's what I want today. I want that taste. I want the alcohol taste. How many people you know is going to sit up with some alcohol, a substance that we justify through the scriptures, and drink some alcohol like it's some juice, and say it didn't do nothing? I'm going to drink like 2 cups. It's not going to get me drunk. They're going to feel something. I guarantee you they're going to feel something. I have never seen, I'm going to tell you as an honest person, I have never seen it. I've never seen someone just drink alcohol and say, this just tasty. This is great. I'm going to just taste this. You got a lot of people with what they call wine coolers and stuff like that. That's heightened with a bunch of different flavor. It's the flavor that they want. So a lot of times after a while they go to the juice, or they're going to keep drinking those wine coolers. They're going to keep going back to those wine coolers until they feel something. But by that time, they're trying to consciously say, I'm not drinking that much alcohol. And so they just drink a whole fleet of it, and now they got to keep going to the bathroom. Besides the person who knows what they're going for, to feel a buzz, just grab the whiskey sip or the alcohol sip and be like, well, I'm not drunk. I'm just tipsy. I'm just feeling the buzz. All right? I'm not out of control. I know my mind's a little altered. I'm feeling the buzz. I'm feeling it. I had 2 drinks, and I'm only feeling it very slightly, right? Not that much where I can't control myself. That's what you're going to see if someone wants to do it properly, or else they're going to get drunk. And some people who get drunk, they can control themselves. Some people can't control themselves when they're drunk. I don't know how, but they do. Some people do. Maybe they control themselves, maybe they're not. Some people do. But some people totally lose themselves. They black out. They can't even control themselves anymore. They lost control, right? So it's very important to know that a lot of people, it depends on the level. They'll say the level of their height, the level of their drunk, there's the level of that mind altering that's happening there. Yes, there is drug abuse. It is almost impossible to abuse this. That's my challenge, is that it is almost impossible to take this as much as you could. In fact, I'm gonna show you a video where they did a test of different individuals where they would let them smoke and then let them drive, and to see how much smoke they need to alter their state of driving. We're gonna go over that. We'll go over the history of that. We'll go over the evidence of all those things. It's very important, right? Right? A high person is not a drunk person, though. That's right. A high person is not a drunk person. That's right. That's absolutely right. That's actually a real truth. When people say someone's high and they try to compare it to drunkenness, or make drunkenness seem like it's less than being high, they don't really understand what drunkenness is. Drunk, right? When you get to the peak of drunkenness, you're almost at the point where they mean blacking out, where you don't have control anymore. There's a difference. So high is like a different state of mind, higher state of mind. Something can alter the mind, right? And we already went over that. As a medication administrator, I see many different clients on different medications with their mind altered that can still pray and worship God. And many other of my associates will believe so as well. They think it's very, very true that clients or different individuals on medication Even though their mind is a little different than ours, they can still function like a normal human. Because they're not to the point where they're just like potatoes. Some people could be potatoes, but that's a different state, right? What is the long-term effect of this on the brain? No matter how small amount. Also, you are talking about people who are being professionally treated as someone on the streets who smokes whenever it's a vice. You're telling me some high who keeps getting high. You need more evidential. You haven't dropped the source. Pay attention. I don't think you remember this channel requires sources. So you haven't dropped the source on how this may alter the mind. So does this do long-term damage to the mind? Not that I heard of. No. It doesn't do long-term damage to the mind. Not even the slightest. No. In fact, it's been evident that people can just easily just start and quit. Very easily. That's one of the biggest things. It's not very addictive like cigarettes and stuff. There's some medication that are obviously way more dangerous that are acceptable to society that we have to be careful on how we get the client off of those medications. And this isn't one of those. This isn't one of those. So that's one of the biggest things. But you can drop a source if you got a source that supposedly it alters the mind, and we'll go over the depth of the source. So remember, be careful in your studies. So go ahead and find a source on that, and we'll go over that. So no, it does not alter the mind to a point where the person is disabled. So it doesn't disable people, if that's what you're wondering. Does it disable the mind or does it corrupt the mind? No. Right? I got people coming in first thing in the morning before work to get rolling papers and to smoke. It's the same as a vice. So the same thing that you're seeing when you're at work, remember, when you're at work, you're at work. Sometimes you need whatever the tool is to do your job. Whatever it is to do your job is what you need to do your job. So that's the biggest thing. So I'm going to say this. If you go to work, right? Let's say, let's pick a job. Let's say you're a cop. Say you're a cop. Do you go out on the field without your tools, without your belt, without your gun, without your all that stuff? If you're a cop, security? No. You need to gear up. You need to have your uniform. You need to have what you need for that task. Now, when you put that uniform on, you're in a different state of mind, no matter what you think. Your mind is that you're a cop now. When you take that uniform off, you're off duty. You are not a cop. Your mind needs to change. You don't walk around and say, oh, I'm going to arrest you. Get on the ground. You don't, I'm going to frisk you. I got this warrant for you or something like that. You need your uniform. You need your uniform. You need your gear. You need to be confirmed. You can't, in fact, even if you were a cop and you lost your job, you're no longer a cop. But when you were a cop, you had all the gears. So whether you are or you're not, you're going to have the proper supplies for the matter. So when you're not a cop, you can't gear up. Because what is it called when you gear up and you're not a cop? What is it called? What is it actually called if you gear up and you're not a cop? It's called impersonation. You're impersonating someone. So you're impersonating a cop. And if someone is geared up as if they were a cop, it would be illegal. So if a cop is not geared up, it would be dangerous, right? It would be silly if he's not geared up. Trying to take someone down and he has not his walkie-talkie. He doesn't have any of his tools. He doesn't have cuffs. He doesn't have any of those things. And he goes out in the field acting like he's a cop and goes in a big, maybe one of the big towns of a crook, go into their house and say, get on the ground. And these guys are not getting on the ground. And he don't have anything. It's not going to look good, right? So for the job that you're at, your mind is going to change. Your mind is going to alter at the job you're at. Whether you're a cop or not a cop. You can be a cop, but when you put that uniform on, your mind is that I am a cop. I have to do my job. When you take the uniform off, you say, right now I'm not a cop. I'm a cop as a career, but right now I'm not in uniform. I'm not on shift, right? So it's a difference, right? So it's a massive difference. So the mind does change with certain things, certain tools, certain things can change the mind. Yeah, you may not like it that someone rolls up some papers and then he's smoking, but does he do his job? Is he doing his job or is he not doing his job? There's a difference. Is that right there gearing him up for his job? Is it illegal at that job? Is it something that he can do at his job or something he can't do at his job? If it's legal, then you can't say anything. If it's legal, if it's legal, you can't say anything. If it's illegal, then you can say something. You can say, oh, it's illegal. But if it's legal, what can you say? Because a lot of this stuff is legal, right? Remember, that was the challenge today, is that this right here was got in Wisconsin legally, right? It's weed. This is weed, marijuana, legally, right? Legal weed, real legal weed in Wisconsin, where it's supposedly in Wisconsin is illegal. But it's the certain material in it that's important to know. But this is still weed, marijuana. So very important. So that's the most important thing, is that you can't be like, oh, I don't like it because it just seems that it just looks bad. It looks like it's papers they roll up and people say it's bad. It looks bad. But are you not being culturally engineered? So that's what we're going to go over tomorrow. I don't expect that someone will understand now that it was culturally engineered as to be bad in your eyes. That this right here was culturally engineered to be bad in your eyes. I'm going to show you that. And I'm going to show you that this was a sense of pride in lands like America in the war. That they actually asked multiple different farmers to grow this substance. They actually asked multiple different farmers to grow this substance to use it as hemp for America. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over different things like that on how this became seen as an illegal substance and how it also altered Christians' mind to think it's a sin, right? You don't have any quotes from early church fathers about this. You don't. You don't have any quotes from any scripture verses on this. And when I say church fathers, I'm talking about the founders, you say the founding fathers and stuff like that, right? Because at the end of the day, they're just writers, right? They're just disciples, they're just followers of Christ later on. But do you have any quotes on them, on this matter? Why? Why was they not touching on this matter? Right? So you got to go over that. Why? Did this matter come up and become a major thing later on in society? We'll go over that. We'll go over the history. Hemp for America and different things like that. How it was accepted, and then right after that, how it became not accepted. Right? So it's going to be very important. So very, 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 very important. Right? Very, very important. All right, so just see a little bit more of that. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's okay. I would agree. Just because something is legal doesn't mean it's okay. That's true. But just because it's illegal doesn't mean it's not okay. That's your argument has been used against you. It has been flipped on your head. So just because it is illegal, when it became illegal, didn't mean it wasn't okay. Because before that, it was viewed as okay. And yet it became illegal and it was viewed not as okay. That's important. So you got to look at this. There's multiple different drugs that are accepted, that are used all the time. All the time. Especially professionally, medicational drugs, right? That are given professionally. And even self-administered drugs that you can get yourself and take them and it'll alter your mind. Penicillin. You got cough syrups. You got all types of stuff. You can abuse them. You can make it seem like it's illegal, but a lot of them are legal. But yet they're still mind-altering drugs. Some of them are very dangerous, but still are around. Right? How many of you took a cough medicine? Do you know that can kill you? Cough medicine? It's very dangerous in a way. But a lot of it actually is beneficial. So does the risk outweigh the benefit? So very, very important, right? Isn't that why we invaded Afghanistan? No. Someone look at that. He said, did we invade Afghanistan for the hemp? Look up hemp for America. You'll understand that that's not why they invaded. That's not why they took Afghanistan. Everyone knows it's the oil. Everyone knows that. It's more than the oil. It's multiple different things why they invaded Afghanistan. Definitely wasn't for the hemp. They got multiple. America had dozens of seeds of hemp. That's not why they invaded Afghanistan. You might want to do a little more research on that history. That's important. There's no place. This right here. You don't go to fields, and this is not something that you take, right? This is not something you go to a field and be like, man, they got a field of that stuff. We gotta go kill the people and take the product. No, because you can get dozens of seeds of this and grow them yourself. And they had dozens of seeds of this to grow. So that wasn't the reason why they invaded Afghanistan. This is not, weed is not the reason why they invaded Afghanistan. Not for hemp. But they did use it to win wars. This was used to win wars. Yes. In fact, multiple pieces of rope on ships were made from this product. Same product that became illegal, right? Maybe a different like strand type stuff with it, right? Hemp, when you think about that. But it's still going to be the green herb with multiple different uses. So we'll go over that. We'll go over the science on how your body, your brain can actually accept certain cannabinoids and how they're actually beneficial and used for children all over. You can look it up, how this product right here helps children. And how it actually would be safer if the world actually did switch over multiple different medications that are dangerous and killing people. Yes, I'm saying killing people. That are still being used today in medical places. That are not this. That never been this. Never been. Yet, if this was used in replacement of those, many people would be still alive. In fact, the world would be a better place. The world would be a better place if we allowed more hemp in our societies. I'm not just saying just smoking it, right? There's different ways of going about using this product. People eat it. People use it for different material. It can be used as a medical vice. So it's one of those things that actually it has been put under the radar so that it cannot be seen as useful. So some people do not see it as useful. So all right, so I'm 1 hour in, and that's pretty much it. So thank you for your arguments on this. But I think that what you need to understand the most of this product is that if you go back and watch this and understand the full understanding just of this saying, and when we come out with the video of the breakdown of history, you'll understand this from what I'm saying here. Weed is not illegal. It is not a sin. So with that, may you be blessed, may you be beloved, and amen, family.